Hello everyone, welcome to From the Star Wars Home Video Library. I'm your host, Nathan P. Butler. This time, we delve back into the idea of Star Wars parodies that got the nod, so to speak, got an official thumbs up from Lucas or Lucasfilm during or before production. Now that's a relatively rare thing to see happen. Most of the time, a Star Wars parody, especially fan film type parodies, gets made, and it's only after the fact that someone at Lucasfilm or George Lucas himself would sit back and say, hey, that's kind of funny. I give that the thumbs up. Like something like Kevin Rubio's Troops, or George Lucas in Love, or Thumb Wars, or something like that. I found in my research that there's basically at least 4 sort of mainstream, collectible Star Wars parodies out there that one could argue got the nod in an early enough stage of the process to be considered something we could cover here under those rules on the show, and in my book, A Saga on Home Video, a fan's guide to U.S. Star Wars home video releases, available now on Amazon, when this has a second edition eventually. It is not covered in there right now. Other than Phineas and Ferb Star Wars, which is covered in the book and we've covered on the show before, there were 4 that fit that criteria. We've taken a look at them already, except for one. We've looked at the Family Guy Star Wars stuff, we've looked at Robot Chicken, and we've looked at Fanboys. That leaves the big one, the elephant, or Mog, in the room. That is Spaceballs. Yes, Spaceballs the movie, the original movie, and in the process of covering it, we will also wind up just touching upon the Spaceballs television series spin-off that got one home video release. But see, here's the thing about Spaceballs. It's probably my favorite Star Wars parody of all time. It's a parody of other stuff too, but I really enjoy it. I'm not always a big Mel Brooks fan, but here, he knocked it out of the park. I love Spaceballs. And frankly, it's got one of the most catchy theme songs of any movie possibly ever, in my opinion. But you remember how in the movie they talk about merchandising and how there's Spaceballs the flamethrower, Spaceballs the coloring book, and so on and so on. All these different merchandising things, basically parodying how Lucas made a ton of money off of hanging on to the merchandising rights for the original Star Wars film and then raked it in with action figures and stuff like that, which was sort of a new thing in terms of that level of merchandising for a film. Well, as sort of an extension of that, it looks like they really took that to heart at MGM when it came to releases of Spaceballs. Over the span of 5 episodes of this series, 5, we'll be able to cover over 30 different releases of Spaceballs. If you've been wondering why it took so long for me to do these episodes, because I was trying to acquire them all. Yeah, there's a few. So in this first episode, again, out of 5, we're going to take a look at 6 releases of Spaceballs. 4 on VHS and 2 on Laserdisc. So we can hold DVD and Blu-ray, of which there's a crap ton, I think that is the technical amount, a crap ton can be covered in episodes 2 through 5 of this little mini-series, if you want to call it, this little arc here from the Star Wars Home Video Library. So this time, VHS and Laserdisc of Spaceballs. The first time that Spaceballs landed for most viewers on home video was on VHS in 1988. That was with this, the aptly named Spaceballs the Video. Yes, they really did it. Spaceballs the Video. No, I'm assuming this is not the one they were watching actually in the movie when they were trying to figure out when now was or anything like that. So Spaceballs the Video, we have Mel Brooks, John Candy, Rick Moranis up there listed at the top. We have Mega Maid, we have the Winnebago zipping here. We've got the main characters all around the Spaceballs logo, where it says Mel Brooks, Spaceballs the Video. We have cast and crew information, the MGM UA logo down there at the bottom on the spine, MGMUA, Spaceballs. Then it says product number, hi-fi stereo, videophonic, VHS, Dolby surround sound. Other side essentially the same. On top, Spaceballs and the barcode for it. And then on the back, cheerfully silly. Great visual gags from Roger Ebert of the New York Post. You know, from Ebert and Roper, and before that, Siskel and Ebert. Then you've got Yogurt here, holding the little yogurt doll. We got Barf and Dark Helmet. Description of the film. Cast information down here. Lots and lots of copyright info. Closed caption and rated PG. Then, the actual tape itself. We have one of our silver MGMUA logos here. MGMUA home video. Spaceballs there in red. Color, product number, rated. In this case, wait. PG-13 this says. PG this says. What? Bit of a disconnect going on there. Approximately 1 hour, 37 minutes. Stereo, hi-fi, Dolby surround, videophonic, closed caption. FBI warning type thing. And the copyright date underneath. Then nothing there as the label on the side. If you were to watch this 1988 VHS copy of the film, you would find that it is full screen, but it does have a couple trailers on it for Fatal Beauty and, fittingly enough, Willow. But maybe at the time you were a little bit of a videophile or an audiophile and you wanted to see it in a better way than just VHS. Well, yes, there was a better way in 1988 to see it. That was Spaceballs the Laserdisc. Yes, it says the Laserdisc. We have stereo extended play up there in the corner, so CLV disc, laser video disc, MGMUA home video, Mel Brooks, John Candy, Rick Moranis, similar logo but much, much larger. Of course, it says the Laserdisc underneath, and there is our cast information. Little spine there, you can barely see it. It says, teeny tiny, Mel Brooks and Spaceballs. Product number, and that's it. Okay, and then there on the back, we have our main characters all given their little circular bits there. Same quote from Roger Ebert. They're really getting some mileage out of that. Logo with the Laserdisc, description, cast information and such. And then all of our basic tech details with the barcode. As for the disc itself, kind of standard MGMUA really at the time. Notice there, MGMUA, side 1. Our technical info, Spaceballs is just in text underneath that bottom red line, and does have the pair of red lines separating it out. This is just a one-disc release, of course, a CLV, an hour worth of content available on each side for this movie that was a little under 2 hours. It's actually split between the sides right before President Scrooge gets the call, in which he gives the order about comb the desert, which of course leads to the whole, we were told to comb the desert, so we're combing it. How about you guys? We ain't found shit! And that whole thing. One of my favorite sequences of Spaceballs that now I've spoiled for you if you haven't seen it yet. But trust me, it's a fantastic parody. I love this film. But in '88, you really didn't have much in terms of any kind of extra stuff on the Laserdisc. You stick it in, and it just says that it's disc 1, or side 1, excuse me. It starts playing, and at the end it just says the end of side 1. Then you take it out and flip it over. It starts playing side 2, end of side 2, and it's over. It's just the movie, no trailers, nothing like that, kind of a bare bones release, as one would expect in 1988 for a Laserdisc release, or at least most Laserdisc releases. That all changed 8 years later. In 1996, right after a nice gap of time has taken place, be the last time we see that kind of thing really happening, at least once DVD starts arriving. But after a little gap of time, in 1996, we saw something special. So special it was labeled as special. That is Spaceballs, the new special edition Laserdisc. In 1996, a year before the Star Wars special editions, I'm thinking special edition may have been a play on that, maybe, maybe not. It was up there at the top. Deluxe Letterbox Edition. So finally, it's letterbox with a dash in between. Usually I see letterbox written as one word, but whatever. This is the first time you can watch Spaceballs on home video in widescreen format. Now, granted, it's widescreen letterbox format, so on a modern TV, you got black bars on top and bottom because of the letterboxing, and then left and right because the actual film video that it's pumping through to your TV is a 4:3 image. It just happens to be that inside the 4:3 image, you got yourself a widescreen with the black bars on top and bottom. We talked about that before. But then we've got a larger cast listing up here. Mel Brooks, Bill Pullman, Daphne Zuniga, Dick Van Patten, Rick Moranis, John Candy. Notice the order has also changed. But there's no bigger cast listing down here. That's it there. So it's sort of a trade-off. Bigger image here, but still same image that we've seen before. Spaceballs. No Mel Brooks here. The new special edition Laserdisc featuring an audio commentary by Mel Brooks. We have our logos here for MGM UA Home Video, Dolby Digital AC2 Digital, AC3 Digital, I was like 2, AC3 Digital, and then Digital Sound Multi-Audio with the Laserdisc logo off on the side. The spine, hard to see there, just basically the information you would expect. Spaceballs, product number, stereo, MGM UA Home Video down there at the bottom. And then your reverse side, very different here. We have ourselves chapter search breakdown of the different sides. Out of curiosity, what do they call it? Introduction, Dark Helmet, Planet Druidia, The Wedding, Barf and Lone Star, Spaceball City, Rescuing the Princess, Hyperactive, Ludicrous Speed, Surviving the Desert, Spaceballs the Movie, The Princess and Lone Star, Virgin Alarm, The Munchkins, Yogurt, The Schwartz, Daddy Visits Vespa, and Farewell to Yogurt. Which then brings us to side 2, Space Dolls, The Nose Job, as one chapter there. So it does split at a different place than the other one. This one splits right before the I didn't see you playing with your dolls again scene. Then they have the combination, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No Parking, Nobody Knows. Mega Maid. Self-Destruction Button, Schwartz Off. The News, The Diner. Alien Dance. Alien Dance and The Diner are separate. The Wedding, Take 2, Fortune Cookie. End Credits. And then you have some bonus features. Aside from an audio commentary as you watch, you can also check out the original theatrical trailer and a behind-the-scenes special that was contemporary of the time to check out how the film itself was made. But then if you actually take a look here, we have that same friggin' Roger Ebert quote, except now they don't tell where he's from, it just says Roger Ebert. We have Vespa's ship, we have the big yogurt statue as yogurt is coming out, we have our separate shots here, King Roland, Barf, Dark Helmet, President Screw, Lone Star with Vespa. Our sort of description of the film here. This special edition contains an audio commentary by Mel Brooks, special behind-the-scenes footage, the original theatrical trailer. Then we are produced by blah, 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 blah. Okay. Color, blah, 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 runtime, and all that kind of stuff you see down here. Cast listing there, along with the cast listing here, so kind of overboard there with the cast listing stuff. But I dig the fact that at least they have the chapters listed on the back. Digital Sound Multi-Audio, analog left is the audio commentary, analog right is AC3 encoding, digital left and right are Dolby Stereo soundtrack. Then it explains for letterbox format, as seen in theatrical release, this film is presented in a 1.85 to 1 aspect ratio letterbox format, still with the dash. The black bars at the top and bottom of the screen are normal for the letterbox format. It doesn't say that when you actually put the disc in itself, but it warns you here on the packaging so nobody freaks out. Then it talks about, again, another warning, basically. This disc contains special coding for Dolby AC3 digital audio in place of analog channel 2 right. With some systems, that signal may produce continuous noise from the right speaker. Oh, joy! This is normal. To eliminate the noise, play the monophonic program, that's a word you don't see every day, by selecting analog channel 1 left only or select digital playback. And then we have the different logos for the digital sound and PG, not PG-13, MGM UA Home Video, and so forth down there on the bottom. As for the disc itself has also seen a label redesign. We now have, again, just a gaudy MGM design. Just MGM Side 1, MGM UA Home Video, the different features of it here, the lion logo from MGM, color approximately however many hours, blah, blah, blah. And then Spaceballs just gets a bare mention down there on the bottom before some copyright text. Now, we're going to find that VHS had more releases for Spaceballs than Laserdisc did. But neither of them holds a candle to either Blu-ray or DVD. But that was it as far as Spaceballs Laserdisc releases. There was the Laserdisc and the new special edition Laserdisc, and that was it, ending in 1996. 1 year later, we saw another reissue on VHS. In fact, we saw a pair. The only time we ever saw a pair of releases on VHS, one widescreen, one full screen for Spaceballs. Other releases were either one or the other. So, what we have from 1997, first is Comedy Night, Spaceballs, which includes an online ad for the MGM website, a trailer for the MGM Vintage Classics movies, that product line, and it does give us a warning that it's been modified to fit our screen because it is full screen in this case. But it says, Comedy Night, got the MGM logo in between, Mel Brooks, John Candy, Rick Moranis, with their Yogurt, Barf, and Dark Helmet personas. Mel Brooks's, so that's back, Spaceballs. But no like the video or the Comedy Night video. I'm kind of sad about that. Then the Winnebago down there at the bottom. The side, Comedy Night, MGM UA home video. Spaceballs, same image as the cover, closed caption symbol, Dolby Surround stereo logo, product number, VHS Hi-Fi. Other side, same thing. The top, look at that first, just Spaceballs there. The back gives us, May the Schwartz be with you. Quoted to Yogurt, and in parentheses, Mel Brooks, so we know that Yogurt's, not real. We have our barcode here, images from the film, making our backdrop, expanded information about the film, credit information, and then down at the bottom, sort of our legalese and everything as one would expect. As for the tape itself, different style here. We've got our MGM logo, MGM Home Entertainment, Spaceballs, all of our information about it here inside the white box with black text, and then FBI warning, much, much larger, black against silver text underneath, and again, no actual label on the side of the tape. Now that same year, with all the same stuff on it, except the warning about it being full screen, 'cause it ain't, but notably not having a warning about it being widescreen and trying to explain to people about the bars on top and bottom or anything, was a simultaneous release here of this one. Looks very similar. Really the only difference packaging-wise is that on the front, and nowhere else, just on the front on the bottom, it says Deluxe Widescreen Edition. So yes, in '96, you could watch it in widescreen at home on Laserdisc. 1 year later, you could watch it in widescreen at home on VHS. And this is the only way to watch it in widescreen on VHS. Even the subsequent release a few years later was not in widescreen. As for the tape, essentially the same thing here. The only real difference being, if you look there underneath the stats and stuff, you can barely see it because of the camera here. There's like a little really thin box of lighter text, and that's where it says, letterbox format. As seen in theatrical release, this film was presented in blah, blah. It's the same thing that we saw as a warning on the back of the Laserdisc from '96. So it does have a warning on the label, but who's going to actually even see it as tiny as it is? It's that little bit down there in orange that's really telling us this sucker's widescreen. Jump ahead 3 years to 2000, and we see the end of VHS releases for Spaceballs and the beginning of releases on DVD. We'll be covering the DVDs later because there's a lot of reissues of the exact same discs over and over again. But that last VHS release in 2000 was this one, the Movie Time version. There's a couple of interesting things about it beyond the packaging that we'll look at here. This is a digital video transfer. This from the Movie Time product line, as you see there. It does include an advertisement for MGM Online, but it's a different advertisement. And this one, again, just like the one from '97, does have a little warning about being modified from the original version to fit the screen. But it doesn't have any, previews or anything like that. And this is, as I mentioned previously, a full screen release. So no corresponding widescreen in 2000. It was either full screen or jump to DVD, you cheapskate, basically. So what do we have here? It says MGM Movie Time with the MGM logo, Mel Brooks, John Candy, Rick Moranis, Mel Brooks's Spaceballs. Then we have, of course, Barf, Dark Helmet, and President Scroob. Not all from one shot. He's from one shot, they're from one shot together. With oh, thank you, and all that stuff that comes later. Then we have the Winnebago itself. side, MGM Movie Time logo with the MGM logo there. Then we have, interestingly, the 3 stars again listed in Mel Brooks' Spaceballs there, kind of slamming up against the edge. Underneath, we have our closed caption symbol, Dolby Surround Stereo symbol, product number, VHS Hi-Fi. We've seen that pretty much before, albeit with a different color scheme, of course, this time. At the top, again, listing the 3 stars. Not talking about Pullman at all, for instance, though, which is kind of unfortunate, seeing as how he's the focal hero. Then on Mel Brooks' Spaceballs there. The back, UPC, blue on white box, or blue border, white box, blue screamingly funny from the Los Angeles Times. So finally using a different quote here. Text about the film, picture of Barf, picture of Lone Star and Vespa, cast and crew information, and legalese stuff all down there on the bottom, along with the approximate runtime, and so on, as we would expect. As for the tape, first time we're seeing a VHS tape of Spaceballs that has no actual label, at least not a label sticker. It's a pre-printed VHS tape. So, no label here for the side, but on the top, or the front, depending on how you want to call it there, it says Spaceballs, color, product label, rated PG, approximately 1 hour 36 minutes, Hi-Fi, Dolby Surround Stereo, closed caption, digital video transfer, copyright date of the original film, MGM Home Entertainment, not MGM UA, just MGM Home Entertainment logo right there, and then your FBI warning there to the side. So no, Spaceballs, in its many, 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 many reissues or re-releases, didn't actually have as many VHS or Laserdisc releases as the Star Wars films did. They're going to give Star Wars a run for their money when it comes to DVD and Blu-ray. That's when things just go nuts, or should I say, ludicrous. Next time, we'll start taking a look at Spaceballs on DVD, starting in 2000, the same year as this release, as VHS was dying for Spaceballs, and DVD was coming to the fore, and we'll take it all the way up through 2008 in our next episode. After that, in our 3rd episode on Spaceballs, we're going to check out DVD and Blu-ray releases from 2009 through 2012, and then in our 4th episode, we'll be taking a look at all the later DVD releases after that point, followed by a final 5th episode that's going to look at the Blu-ray releases after the point where we ended episode 3. Let the avalanche of disc-based Spaceballs begin. Next time. With that, we'll wrap up this episode. Thank you for watching, and may the Force be with the home video viewers.